Riverside is officially on their way to the Upper State Championship. And we back. Welcome back to the second season of the Get Buckets podcast, powered by Hard Running Basketball. I'm your host, Musa Moretti. After last night's conclusion of Riverside versus Catawba Ridge, Riverside is officially on their way to Florence. Man, let's talk about it. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to Riverside for getting the dub last night in such a tense and just intense game overall against a really solid Catawba Ridge team. I haven't talked about Catawba Ridge much this season, but overall, they've been a very good team. I mean, they've played well all throughout the season, having, I believe, a 24-3 record prior to this game. But Riverside was able to get it done. And let's just talk about some of the players in this game that made an impact. First off, none other than Jack Sauer. And I've been saying before even this game, Jack's the type of guy, he's basically the heart and soul of Riverside. He's not really the guy that's going to go out, drop 20 a game, be like the Julian list or even maybe the Drew at times when Drew makes big shots. But he plays hard every single game. And that, the basketball gods, as people like to say, was able to repay him by, making the two biggest shots of the game. I mean, and not only that, he had a very critical block to force the game into OT late when Zon Hager, who had been hitting all game, he got it off, but Jack was right there to block it. And he just played really solid, especially late in the game, having that confidence to make those two shots. I mean, without him, their season probably would have been over. So, that's the first guy I wanted to shout out. Next up, Julian Turbe. Very solid game all the way through, and he was really the main one controlling the game for Riverside early in the game, especially when no one else was really going. I believe he probably had 10 to 12 just in the first quarter alone. He even made a buzzer beater at the from behind the three in the first quarter just to keep the game like 2 points away, and used to show that they're right there. Like he was really the enforcer and start off the game really strong for them. He also just got a lot of rebounds throughout and was a big part, obviously, like always, just in beating them, helping the team get the win. Next guy I want to talk about is Zon Hager from Catawba Ridge. Came out shooting the ball pretty solid, but that third quarter, man, he probably hit at least 4 or 5 before Riverside finally could get a guy on him, being Jack Sauer, to just chill him out a little bit because that man came out firing, and it was great to see. He at one point I thought he put the backpack on for Catawba Ridge. He made big plays down the stretch. I thought he made the 2 free throws to seal the deal. That would be, shown otherwise as Jag made the 3 to come back. And I want to talk about that play in specific because my thing is there were 2 things that probably could have prevented Riverside to force the double overtime. First off, they could have fouled Jack to maybe send him to the line where they're up 3. Remind you, Catawba Ridge is up 3. Jack has to make, even if he makes both of them, Catawba is still up 1. But instead, he came down and hit it. Another thing is when Jack went behind his back, maybe he did push off, maybe he didn't. But Zon, he tried to, play the push off instead of really just sitting and trying to make it a more difficult shot for Jack. So maybe if he would have just stayed up on Jack instead of, falling back, trying to force the push off, things might have been different. That's just what I got from that play. But tough shot regardless. I mean, it banked off the glass. Nothing more you really could have done. Um, but yeah, on to the next guy, Lance Barnes, sophomore from Catawba Ridge, the point guard. He made some very solid defensive plays throughout the game. He made really big plays down by just, stealing the ball from Julian one time in a very critical moment when I believe Riverside was down 1 in either the fourth quarter or in overtime. He got some steals early and set the tone for Catawba Ridge. Wasn't a crazy scoring night for him, but he did have a nice floater late in overtime, which once again I thought, maybe that seals the game, which it didn't. But very tough shot, I thought. Next 2 guys I want to talk about, Mikael Skinner and Sabi Boyuganu. These dudes were playing hard, man. This just their presence in the paint was huge. Sabi, when he got in the game, either the first or second, I know in the second quarter he was able to get by his defender banged one home, brought that energy into the gym. It was great to see. But, one thing I really want to talk about, Mikel's help side is really solid. I mean, I don't know if y'all noticed, but when he's in the paint, it makes the guards think twice if they want to go down there because it's not like they just got to get past their defender. They're getting past their defender, but right when they get to the paint, Mikel's right there, hands up, and that's very tough to finish over a 6'4", 6'5" guy being Mikel Skinner. So, just wanted to shout out his help side defense. They were able to get a few cuts around the rim. That's because he was helping the first guy, and Riverside didn't have a second guy to be there to help. Next guy, next person I want to talk about, Landon Foley, another senior guard from Catawba Ridge. Although he did miss the final shot, which could have sent it into a third overtime, he made some big shots down the stretch as well. He made a shot, I believe, in the first overtime, which tied the game or put them up 3, I believe. And, he just had a solid game. I mean, made big plays down the stretch, made easy buckets when they needed them, and really just got the easy buckets around the rim. Also has some solid rebounds for a guard. Next guy, Drew Cannon from Riverside. Didn't have the best shooting game. I felt like he was a little bit more off than usual, but nonetheless, he really stayed composed throughout, didn't get in his head too much, and just played hard all the way through. Played all minutes of the game, so he was an integral piece for Riverside, like always, and he'll be an integral piece again when they see Greer in the next round. Next guy, Q Webb, another guard, sophomore, I believe, from Catawba Ridge. It was more of a quiet night for him, and this is another all-region player for them. But he did make one really big three in the fourth to either put them up 3 or tie that 3. I know it was something like that. These guys were hitting very clutch shots all throughout the night, everyone from both teams. But I remember Q Webb hit one really clutch 3 late in the game after being real quiet for most of the night. Last guy I want to talk about, Brady Ambrose from Catawba Ridge. My first time seeing him play, he's not a real tall guy, but I mean, he competed against the bigs from Riverside, but they had to be tough. He was definitely out rebounded by guys like Sabib, Mikel, and even Julian. But he played tough, and you saw a difference in Catawba Ridge's ability to rebound once he fouled out the game in double overtime. I mean, that double overtime, Catawba could not get a rebound, even off of free throws, it seemed like. And maybe that's not all on the Bigs' fault. Maybe the guards got to go get it, but Riverside out rebounded this team throughout the entire game. I mean, their offensive rebound ability was one of the reasons Jack Sauer got open for the first 3, which Sabi got off of a tip or something like that. But nonetheless, I mean, Riverside played tough all the way through. But I gotta say, Catawba did as well, and you can't be too mad at them. I mean, for losing this game. I mean, it's double overtime. It's only so much you can do, but there's definitely some takeaways they can take into next season. I know Zion's a senior; he won't be back, or Landon won't be back for Catawba as well. But guys like Lance Barnes, Q Webb, the future of Catawba Ridge, these are the guys that are going to be coming back, the ones that are going to be representing. So hopefully they can get it done. The second time in a row they've lost in the third round, and they are a really good team. But great season regardless for them. Riverside, see you in Florence. They match up against Greer for the third time now. Just a quick rundown of the Greer game. Greer played Lancaster tonight, last night as well, where they were able to get up by like almost 15 to 20 really early, kept the lead out all the way into halftime. But second half, Lancaster didn't just give up, man. They never give up. They made a huge push, got the game within, I think, like 7 a few times, but can never get it much closer than that. They ended up losing by, I believe, about 12 points, where Greer was able to take it home, and they're headed off to Florence. But who you got going into the next game, Greer or Riverside? You know, third time's a charm. If Riverside gets it done one more time, it's only so much you can say who the better team is. But Greer's been looking really nice lately, and I'll give my own opinion. Who do I think will win this game? Based off the way they've been playing, I might have to go Greer. And I know I wasn't at the Greer versus Riverside games, and Riverside's been playing really well as well. But Greer's definitely like they're pushing teams off the cliff lately, and I mean, they seem like they really got it. But Riverside does as well. I don't want to. I'm not saying if Greer does happen to win this game, regardless, 5 point game. But I'm gonna make my final answer. I believe Greer will win. Riverside proved me wrong. Greer get the dub. I mean, but regardless of that, great win Riverside last night versus Catawba Ridge. Congratulations and keep it going. Peace.